My name is Michael, and the woman I loved destroyed something inside me forever. Not by cheating, not by leaving me, but with one sentence, spoken in front of her rich friends. She looked directly at me and smiled. Then she said, "Maybe if you work harder, we wouldn't live like this." Everyone laughed. And honestly, that night changed my life forever. At the time, I worked 2 jobs, morning warehouse shifts, night delivery driving. I barely slept, barely ate. But every dollar I made went toward building a future for us. Emma loved luxury, expensive restaurants, designer bags, luxury vacations. Pause hash. Meanwhile, I was just trying to survive. And slowly, she started becoming embarrassed by me. One Friday night, Emma invited me to dinner with her wealthy friends. Honestly, I didn't belong there. You can always feel it when rich people look at you like you're invisible. At first, everything seemed normal. Wine glasses, laughter, luxury conversations. Then one of her friends looked at me and asked, "So Michael, what exactly do you do?" Before I could answer, Emma laughed. Actually laughed. Then she said, "He works all day and still can't afford anything impressive." The entire table went silent, but Emma kept talking. Then she looked directly at me and said, "Sometimes I feel like I married potential instead of a real man." And suddenly, everyone at the table looked away, but I could still hear their laughter in my head. That night, I walked alone for hours. No destination, no thoughts, just silence. And for the first time, I realized something painful. Emma didn't love me anymore. She loved the version of me she hoped I would become, not the man standing beside her. 3 days later, I left. No screaming, no fighting, no revenge. I left one handwritten note on the kitchen counter. It said, "You were ashamed of the man who loved you the most. One day, you'll regret that." The next 2 years changed my life. I worked harder than ever before, started a small online business, failed twice, almost gave up. But eventually, everything started working. Money came slowly at first, then all at once, by 32. That night, I walked alone for hours. No destination, no thoughts, just silence. And for the first time, I realized something painful. Emma didn't love me anymore. She loved the version of me she hoped I would become, not the man standing beside her. I owned the same kind of company Emma's rich friends used to brag about. And honestly, success didn't feel as good as I imagined, because deep down, I still remembered her laughter. Then one morning, my assistant walked into my office and said, "Your new marketing applicant is here." And when the door opened, I froze. It was Emma, older, quieter, nervous. She looked around my office slowly, then looked at me with wide eyes, and whispered, "Michael?" Emma apologized for almost an hour, crying, shaking, telling me she made the biggest mistake of her life, but something inside me had already changed. I looked at her calmly and said, "The saddest part is, I would have given you everything, but you humiliated me before I ever had the chance." Then I stood up, walked toward the window, and for the first time in years, I finally felt free.